Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Very good evening to all.
Good evening, sir.
Wow, very welcome, IFM Dhanbad. Thank you.
We welcome you to our webinar, sir. Very grateful that you took our time for this webinar to tell us about the health and safety events.
Sir, we will wait for a few minutes more and then after we can start it.
Simran and Anshu, you may start now.
Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to everyone present here this evening. My name is Simran Tyagi, and along with me is,
Anshuranjan.
and today we'll be speaking on the behalf of SPE IIT ISM student chapter.
Before starting the session, I would request all the attendees to mute themselves. You can type your queries in the chat box or can unmute yourself at the end of the session.
For making us aware of the health and safety practices in the industry in an imaginative and engrossing way. Today we have with us Mr. Mohit Raturi, who currently holds the position of HSE Consultant Project Management. His previous experiences include working as an HSE consultant, legal and corporate cell and exploration technology limited, and as an HSE coordinator, well engineering operations, Halliburton.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hand together for our guest, Mr. Mohit Raturi. Welcome, sir.
Hello, very warm welcome to ISM Dhanbad, all students.
Yes, sir.
I love to interact with you people, especially, one of the prestigious, cream of our country and even worldwide, one of the reason to interact with you guys, because you are would be the leader and you are the people, who will lead oil and gas industry for tomorrow. So I would like to thank to each and everyone who is present there, right? So today I would like to cover my experiences through this webinar, right? So within that, I will let you know as a leader, right, what is your approach towards operations. So I would not like not take your not take your more time. Within query sessions, whatever questions you have and all, right, so within that, I will try to solve your all queries and what is your concern and what is you want to ask for me within that session, right? So I would like to give you a brief about this industry. Can you please forwarded that slide, please? So nowadays in oil and gas, right, you are from one of the prestigious college who is leading country in oil and gas from more than around 9 to 10 decades. Right. So within that, earlier the oil and gas operations have a very different scenarios. It was in a very different way, but nowadays there's a lots of changes, technology involved, and side by side, safety is a very important operations. So basically, what is safety? It is your constitutions of oil and gas industry activities because most of the operations which conditions and occupy the potential of hazard which can harm to persons and people. So if we see the overview of our industry, so we can divide it in three parts. So one is upstream, where we covered exploration and productions. The second one is the midstream industry, where transportation, storage, and marketing of our crude and natural gases happen. And the third one is the downstream industry, that have a lot of potential in every stage, which is potential to a catastrophic incident. Next slide, please. So the question is, why is health, safety, environment is so important in oil and gas? So as you've seen and as you understand, the industry involves a high risk activities, that it is not limited to that exploration, production, and processing of highly flammable materials. Part of that, there is a lots of manpower who is engaged in that operations, the heavy complicated equipment and the system, right, which have a lifeline of this industry. So the other reason is the high investment. It could be around 1 billion USD and more than that. So within oil and gas, we are calculating our terms and business in USD, right? And side by side, it is a long period. It is around 10 years, 15 years as well. The second is the strategic and the vital industry. As you know, it have a large work scope environment, right? So we all know that our oil and gas we explore in a very remote location and in a very harsh environment, means either in sea, either in deserts, or either in where most of the time snow is occupied. Accidental consequences would be catastrophic, and in terms of number of casualties, environment pollution, and loss of investment and reputation damage of an industry as well. So from onwards, we'll do a little bit exercise. So now imagine you are in the following event. So can you please go to the next slide, please? Alpha platform. It was happened in UK North Sea, right? So these were the main incident, which was a catastrophic and very unfortunate incident, right? Due to the lack of following procedure, due to not following safety, by personnel, and due to the equipment failure. So if we see within that what happened, so the Occidental Petroleum Limited, it was an operator company. It produces 10% North Sea oil, right? So it was explosions killing 167 men, only 61 survived. So it happened in offshore, and it was total loss of $3.5 billion. So my dear friends, what happened in that? So within that, we have lost the process, and we failed to follow the procedure, and due to the presence of hydrocarbon, right, and it was neglected at the time of the production, and it got exploded, right? So still, uh, these incidents hold a worst offshore oil disaster in terms of loss of life. So as I mentioned, two operation. One is offshore operation, which we operate in sea, and other one is onshore operation, which operates in land. So within offshore, we have a very precise operations, right, where we have to done in a very systematic manner within a very limited time frame. And the main challenge within that, we have a environment challenge, right, which affects our offshore operations. So as a leader, as you people, tomorrow you will be lead any industry, right, where you will take care of each procedure, right? The standard operating procedures company has set to operate. Why it is important, right? If we miss any step, right, that can lead be a very catastrophic event, or damage to equipment and damage to environment as well. So this was a very one of the very worst case, right? If you will go within a detailed case study, so you will feel the consequence what was missing. So even a lots of students, right, who had done their internship, or either they will do their internship, so I would like to request to them, they have to gone through that, what is the process, and what is the correct sequence, and as a engineer and as a leader, what is our roles within that, how we can protect our operation safe, right? That is the one of the biggest challenge from ancient ages to till now. All leaders are facing it. Next slide, please. The another one is the BP Macondo, the deep water horizontal
Sir, can you hear us?
Went wrong in BP Macando, right? So there was a well blown situation, sir. Right? I hope you had studied about the well blown situation. So why it was happen? So there is one of the crucial way in that within cementing operations, they have not put the enough centralizer was recommended in program. And the second, a very important thing about that, they have in oil and gas, we have shift. So within shift handover, they have not hand over the proper information to next shift, right? So that was one of the basic root cause of this incident. So it was a explosion in a submersible rigs operated by Transocean. So there 11 people lost their life, right? So what was staying in oil and gas. So my dear friend, you need to keep this thing in mind. Whatever operations we are doing, if one barrier is failed, what we need to do the next. So within oil and gas, we have always double barrier policy. So if one barrier is failed, so we will label on another barrier. So that we need to take care of it, right? And we have think in that way, right? So we that what operations we are doing, right? What is the consequence and what is the control measures on that? As an engineer, we have to continuously work it out on that. How much efficient
Excuse me, sir. Sir, your
and more
internet
safe
is slow, I
we
guess.
can
Please
contribute
turn
it.
off your camera.
Yes, please.
Sir, your internet
Okay,
is slow. Please turn off your camera.
okay, sure. Now it's audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So basically, it was all about that the flow of 7 days, right? It is on keep continuous flowing. It was not controlled. Right? It was damage of around 4.9 million of British patent have to pay 18.7 billion after it. It was the largest in US history because lots of sea life were suffered for that, and it had take around a decade to clean that sweep. It still holds as the largest accidental marine oil spill, right? So where is the problem occurs, right? If gone through that, yes. Now audible? Yeah, I think.
Yes,
Yes, sir,
sir,
you
you
are
are.
audible.
Yes.
Okay, great. So what went wrong? So whenever we have any incident, we have to go through the causes why, five time of why, right? Why it was happen? What was the root cause, right? What was the control measure on that? So within that way, we have to investigate such kind of incident. Can you please forward it to next slide? So these were the hazard related to the oil and gas industry. We categorized into two ways. One is safety and injury to the hazard. It is a direct incident cause, and second one is health and illness hazard. So within the safety and injury hazard, we can see the motor vehicle incident, right? We started our day with drive with a car and a vehicle. So there is a lots of chances to meet with the next incident, and we And within oil and gas operation, there is a lots of transportation, flights, right? So it is a major hazard, we are running on road, right? So these were the, the possible causes. And we have a long run, right? Within the desert, we have to mobilize around 100 kilometer, more than 100 kilometer. Within Saudi, it gone 200 kilometer, even within country as well, right? If you see about the refinery operations, right? So it is from one state to another state and one corner to another corner of country. And the second largest hazard, it is the second one is the contact with an injury, right? We are working with a lots of equipment which is operated hydraulically, pneumatically, and there is a chances of cause of entanglement with machines and caught in between of machines and pinch point hazards as well, right? So we are more focused on that engineering control methods, right? How we can rectify it and how we can prevent it. The third one is a very common hazard, slip, trip, fall at same level within the operations, uneven surface, and improper use of non-availability of fall protection devices. Right. The another one is fire and explosions within the facilities. So we all are working in the hydrocarbon environment. There, if any ignition source is there, right, it can cause fire, and due to presence of hydrocarbon, it is spread all over the plant and all over the facility as well, right? So what we need to do in that, right, we are using explosion proof equipment system to avoid such kind of hazards within the our plant. And the second, to avoid explosions, so we strengthen our process safety of our equipment and system, right? So there we do the scientific study of our plant, right, in terms of hazardous operation and hazardous identification study, detailed study, and we involve third party witness, right? So people can see and check, right, where is the loopholes and what is the action next slide please. So about the second hazard, the health and illness hazard. So what happen if we are working continuous within a hazardous environment? There is a lots of potential of hazard. Like as we are working in a high noise area, we are working in offshore, right? So within working in high noise area, we have to the probability of loss to hear prevention. Thing working in an offshore environment produce to seasickness. The second thing, due to the shifts and all, because we are working in shifts, so it is the potential of hazard to the slip deflects stress, and due to adverse environment, we are we are in process to get the heat stroke and the special disorders, right? And as chemical as we are working in chemical, it became to a chance of to with the chronic disease which affects our lungs, livers, and other part of our body. So if you see within this presentation, within upstream, we have other key process like as we started from seismic survey and exploration, drilling, development and production, and commissioning, decommissioning of our equipment. So within that, these are the agents, right, which can affect our the part of body and system, like as noise, vibrations, mechanical, ergonomics, and psychological as well during the vectors. So it is one of the hazard which is a indirect cause of health and wellness of a person, right? Even this is a very contributing factor, right? Because people if they entered in oil and gas, right, in start they are doing their jobs and all, but after some time they feel they are not fit for job as per their body requirement, as per their circumstances, and as per their work condition, right? So these are the some of the factor whenever you will be entering in this industry. So whenever you will be entering in this industry, you just consider each and every factor, right? It is not ended up means you will be limited to reservoir and drilling, right? You have to see what we need to done and give our best, right? Either it is in a midstream and downstream as well, right? If you see, there's a lots of programs where we can build our career and we can see the potential of growth as well. Earlier it was very simple, right? Up to production, but now nowadays it is like that. We have to focus in programming. We are built up our career where within the startups, like as the chemical we are using and the equipment we are running, the engineering process within the design and all, right? We can see lots of things, right? So within that you have to keep all these factors in mind, and select the what is suitable for you. Next slide, please. Even as a petroleum engineer, right? So they come up with this mentality. Yes, we will do it, but you have keep the things in mind. How long you can be run within field or within office as well, because field have a very different kind of challenges, where you have to be directly involved in the operations, and within office job you are the part of process, right? You have to give your inputs what best you can do for industry. Within midstream we have pipelines, transport and storage and marketing of our oil and gas process. Main agents is our hydrocarbons and dust from filling and scaling. So what is the the possible health effects? If you can see, it is all about the occupational health issues like a noise induced hearing loss, demand issues, chronic diseases. And within downstream we have the key process of production and manufacturing. So this is very complex. If you see within India, right, every state have refinery operations, and or either most of the state they are about to start their operations. So there is a lots of scope of changes, right? Within the process you can contribute how better you can give your input to the industry. Next slide, please. Within the health safety environment management system, we have a PDCA cycle. So PDCA means plan, do, check, act. So how a health safety environment management system is effective? So we can understand through the PDCA cycle. Within the PDCA cycle, every company have a kind of strategic health safety environment roadmap. Start of year. So basically, we are taking as a financial from April to March. So within that, we set our goal, right? How we can escalate our policy to the ground level people, what training we will implement within the system, and what changes we will do it, what HSE campaign we will do to improve our workplace safety, right? Our key priority, what it is. The second thing we'll do, what we need to done, we studies about the risk and injury management within our system, right? For example, the last year we have studied what are the major risks involved. So due to our plant and operations face the shutdown and affect the our equipment and plant operation, basically we can consider is a safety shutdown time. Due to safety, how many hours we had shut down. Health and illness management means within a year how many persons had taken leave due to occupational health. Means occupational health is the term, right, which is related the health effect due to our job process. And the fourth one is a very important. Every company have their rules and regulations. So it is a regulatory compliance. So within onshore, for your information, I'm telling you within onshore, the data journals of mines and safety, it is located very near to you within Dhanbad only. So they are the regulatory body in onshore operations and oil inspection safety directorate. So they are the regulatory body for offshore operations India. Apart of that, we are studies about like as API standards, like as IDC standards and other standards as well. So within check, what we do, whatever we plan and we are executing, right? So we have to monitor that program. So within the organization, what happens? So every quarter, right, we review our program, how it is going on, how much we achieved, and what we need to done to achieve our targets, especially shift targets. And we are continuous focused on our performance indicators, right? Performance indicator is our indicators where we are lagging in terms of incident accident and what we achieved in terms of safety. And act, it is a very important. So basically it plays a vital role within the industry. It is basically a ball in court of management. So management have reviewed, right, within that where they are lacking and what support they can provide to it. So basically they are the action which they can complete their safety targets in terms of they can provide the resources, they can provide the training, they approve the safety budgets, right, within that, and actions for continuous improvement program. Next slide, please. So if you see, it is the generally risk management process in the oil and gas industry involves the following key steps, right? Where we identify the risk. Risk identification is a keep continuous improvement program, right? So basically we have terminal manager. So as a terminal manager, what is the potential of hazards involved in my plant? I have to identify it. The second thing, the gather the health and safety information pertain to oil and gas industry and define the strategy and workflows as per the business and the legal requirement. Within second step, the risk recording, we evaluate the risk arising from each identified source. For that, we are doing a scientific study to identify the hazards and the might occur. So we are keep continuous watching on that. Accordingly, we prepare the trend for years and years, and that years of trend study becomes a recommended practice for our industry. Another thing is risk, the rank of the risk in the basis of the severity, right? Some of the risks have a low priority, low severity, and some of the risks have a high severity. But we have to identify all, and we have to work it out on all as per their severity. The another factor is the risk control. I guess we are going for the preventive measures we can take in. The another one is on flow on follow on assessment, right? Whatever we are doing, either we are doing in a right way and wrong way. So there is a steering committee who is monitoring on it. So within the steering committee, there is a representation of all department person and who are monitoring, such assessments. And another one is regular review and updating of risk assessment. Basically, it is a monitor and review process, right? So within that, we see what we need to do to ensure that it is ensured that implemented are being used and are effective as well. So people have taken a tendency of shortcuts. So what people are doing it, so they are just gone through that shortcut. Okay, miss, that will be happen. So kind of thing will happen. So that's why miss, but we need to take a very much serious, and we have to ensure that that will be a effective measures, right? That will really help it out on ground level. Otherwise, what happened? Whatever the exercise we had done, so it will be zero if we have to So if you see this slide, next slide please, behavioral based safety program. This term itself says we have to change within our behavior, right? And accordingly we have to act. So how it will act? So it is a scientific study method which has implemented within the industry from a long time. So it is more on that what we have to do as per the job scenario. So it is the final step in an injury sequence. If you see, it is a supervisions unsafe unsafe acts, right? So if you see within I will tell you with an example, right? Like as we are riding a vehicle, a two wheeler vehicle, right? So we have a kind of tendency, okay, I have to go only 1 kilometer, should I put helmet or not, right? So it is a behavioral thing. It is not related to either I need to do any polishing, right? Either police will caught me or not. It is behavioral, because if I will go and get an accident, so it is me who will harm, right? So we have to kind of tendency. whenever either we are driving on road or either we are doing any job. So it is basically failed or absent of defenses. Next slide, please. So it is the perception of risk and reward, right? Any task, will it be easier, will I get hurt, will anyone notice, right? These are the the natural questions comes in mind. Will I get finished sooner, will I get in trouble, right? So as you can see, people often act according to their perception of the risk and reward for their behavior, not necessarily according to the rules, policies and procedures. Most of the companies, they have the set standard of rules, policies and procedure, but if you see these all five factor, which is comes in mind and which reflect in our job, right? So from our bosses due to peer pressure, right? Like as okay, my colleague had done this job in 10 hours, right? So okay, I will do finisher in 8 hours, so I will be in a good books of my boss. But we need to keep these things in mind. If the process said it will take 10 hours, so it comes through a scientific study, right? So it is the time we can perform the job in a safer manner, right? So I hope you can understand that perception of risk and reward. And next slide, please. So these were the observations based on the behavioral science. As I said, it is a scientific study. Within that, look for previously defined specific behaviors. Right? It is a natural human tendency. It comes in mind. But as a leader, right? Tomorrow, you all people will be become a leader. So what policy says, what procedure say, we have to ask such questions. Right? So what policy says, what procedure say, we have to stick on that. It is a two-way feedback after observing. Use positive reinforcement, right? Safe first, meaningful, right? Not due to peer pressure and due to any hurdle, right? So what happens, so even there was a root cause of one of the major incident. People were in hurry and they meet within the major incident and accident. Discuss specify risk behavior observers perceptions, the potential consequences, and collect the data. As I mentioned earlier, the potential consequences we need to keep in our minds, right? What is the operations? What is the most worst effect will be happen, right? We have to keep these things in mind. After that, we have to plan our jobs. And next slide, please. So basically, this is the model. We said it observation based on behavioral science, new performance measures, and leading indicators. I know it is a very technical term, but trust me, these are the terms, right? You will get when you become a leader and when you will enter in industry, right? If you will go within that approach, right, definitely you will become a very good leader, right? So there is a two things. One is observations and feedback, and another one is the data use previously we have. So within observations and feedback, how we can get it due to the reinforcement in a safe behavior and consequences, right? Whatever the job you are performing, you have to just tell the risk consequences involved in that. Either it is your senior as well, right? Sometimes it happens, right? it is very tough to make understand your senior, right? Within that conditions, you have to tell them in a systematic manner, yes, boss, this is a wrong, and it can, we all will be in a trouble, right, due to this XYZ reasons, right? But whenever you have come up with such kind of things, then you will come up with a very strong study base, right? You can't directly say, okay, this is the reason. Any job in oil and gas is unsafe, but you have to come with the scientific study and as per your previous data available with you. Within that, if you see the perception survey, participation rate, contact rate, and number of observations. So basically, I would like to emphasize on perception survey. So it is a very important and a very popular study within the industry. What we need to done in that, we are just take the survey from our employee on basis of some questions, right? What will happen if we will do make such kind of changes, and it is a very helpful tool to make our workplace safer. The participation rate, right? So we must ensure that the participation comes from ground level person to till management level, right? So in that term, right, the people who is come up and who is involved in job, they come up with some observation. Either it will be a good observation or it will be a bad observation. So basically, good observation is reflection of how your company is working, and the answer observation is the thing where you need to work it out. The quality indicator, basically, we take in terms of service quality issues as well. Change in percentage of safe. Okay, last year my operation was 55% safe. This year, how much we have changed it? Not 55%, but how much we have changes. Number of improvements. Okay, last year I had make out of 60, I had make 25 improvements. Now this year, what will be my target? Either I will take it 40 or either 50 or 60. Number of actions plan, right? So some for improvement and to change all these data, we need some actions where we have to more focus and which require the attention of management need to work it out. Next slide, please. So if you see, this is the behavioral based safety process, right? And how it can be increased with more worksite awareness, right? So if you see, this is the system is our engine, and other bogies, they are our culture, supervision, skill ability, reward recognition, trainings, supervision, procedures, tools, equipment, and worksite behavior, right? So if you see, like as a train, it goes in a direction, right? So it requires all the support, right? Like an engine and the other bogies, how it will connect it. Same, a company, have a kind of same, the phenomena, how they are working to achieve their targets. Next slide, please. This is the behavioral based process implementation program, right? So it started from the management meeting where the leader, senior management, and support staff required, right? And they set the policy and procedures as per their business requirement. The team have the involvement of senior management, mid management, and the facilitators who is supporting the program. Within the process design, it is observation steps where we kept the data. Okay, like as today supported, I get 10 observation from wherever I am working. The second, what is the performance criteria I have defined for them, right? The another step is the train the steering team, the steering committee, right? I mean, what everyone have to assign centers to develop checklist and the observational training and approve the procedure design and the communication plan and pass forward. So these are the factor the steering team need to keep in mind. Next slide, please. Okay, so if you see, this is a cultural ladder, right? So we said it as safety transformation. If we start the pathological, right? So even if you see, and when you will enter in industry, you will get all these things. Like as miss, you will see the company who have a very pathological culture, right? Who cares, right? As we are not caught, right? Okay, I will do operation in unsafe manner within a hit and trial method. Okay, earlier I had done kind of thing, right? So people within that culture, right? And how this culture built, right? The management of the company, they are committed towards and their company and towards the nation as well, right? So they will take, because the oil and gas assets, so they are not only belongs to company, it belongs to country as well, right? So it is the culture, how they are building it depends totally on the mentality and thinking of the management. The second culture is the reactive culture, right? People know these are the reactive measures. Safety is important, but we do a lot every time we have an accident. Okay, as a leader, we have to listen each and everyone, and we have to check, right? Either where are the loophole in the process, and accordingly we have to build up our career, our companies, focus and go towards safety. The third one is a very gentle way to calculative the cultural radar, right? Within the cultural safety transformation, we have a system in place like see this chart now. So even if you check the oil and gas history, it was started from pathological way to till collaborative way. So we have a system in place, like as I said, companies have a very beautiful systems and all to manage all hazards, but people are not much bothered to refer it and check it out and plan their job accordingly. Even it is from their well program we are performing within the job as well. The fourth one is the proactive approach. It is a keep continuous program, right? So within the oil and gas, every day is a new. Every day we meet with the lots of challenges where you know which was not faced earlier, right? So as a proactive approach, I have to find out. Okay, today I have find out such kind of problem, and we will resolve this problem so it will not occur in future. The fifth one is the collaborative culture, like as you heard about. Okay, this company have a very beautiful systems, the people are so amazed. So within that, what happened, HSE is how like as okay is support that I am entering in a premises. So okay, miss, I have not to be guided by anyone, so I have to wear my PP by myself. And if I am on job, right, so I have to take the well program to check it, to make pre-checks, pre-inspections, so and as per the policy procedures and certain inspections of checklist, right? Either I'm following it or either I have we are missing something, right? But the thing is collaborative safety culture. But trust me, miss, whenever you will be working in a such kind of culture, or either you will try to build up such kind of culture, you will find a lots of change within the system procedure. Even you will get an operational efficiency as well. So basically, it is the ratio of the increasing trust about the accountability within the organization, within the system, right, and within the standard practices we are introducing to the world, right. A lots of engineers, so they are coming day by day. They are coming up with a lots of new solutions, right, which is useful for industry and which is becoming a recommended practice. So my dear friend, so this is the culture ladder, right? And whenever you will start your career, right, so you can find out in which place you were, so you can easily calculate, and you can easily find out in which system you're working and what improvements it requires. Next slide, please. So the culture transformation, behavioral observations and feedback, where employees choose to behave safety means we have not to monitor. Okay, whatever the job they are doing, right? Either they are not doing safe, or either they will not do a procedure, because as the trusted company who is working within the oil and gas, right? So they have their ethics and they have their standard practice they are following in a day, right? Like as any special program, and also so they know what is the policy procedure as per the recommendation of the management. They clear it, and accordingly they perform their jobs. Next slide, please. So basically, this is the line is you have to remember within your life. There is no so important job that you have no time to do it safely, right? You can imagine the scenario, right, where you are walking and where you seen miss your hand is red blooded with someone's incident and everything. So as becoming and would be a leader, I would like to request to all, right? So in which organization you will start your career, either it will be a office job, either it will be a field job, just be more precise, more focused on safety. It will help you outrun your career in a very long way. Trust me. Yeah. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Please.
So there are some queries of our inclusive attendees. There's a question from Mr. Devesh. What is the role of a HSE officer during a blowout?
Okay. So basically, the HSC officer, it's a very important post, the health safety environment officer. So like as a operation people, like either a tool pusher, either a company man, or either drilling engineer, they have a lots of multiple job. It is distributed, right? They have to see, check their well program. They have to focus on either the mud engineer, they are preparing the mud and all, or either miss they are more coordinating on that. But only the HSA officer is a person within the blood situation, right? The HSE officer help out to tool pusher to get the emergency aided within the workplace, and if there is any casualty, right? So how to evacuate them, and is there any potential, and if and wherever is potential of hazard, barricade it and keep away the people from there, and keep continuous support to tool pusher, especially getting the resources on location to control our well, right? So a very good question, Devesh. Valuable services. So within that, I had experienced a lots of things, right? As a HSC officer, so we are not only limited to our documents, policy, procedures, and our workplace. It is, you can say inside the well operations, right? What is the operations going on? What is the consequences? So he basically HSE officer is an advisor who can perform the job safely in cases of blowout. So basically they are using standard form at that time through gas evacuation, through your hazardous substances, and how to rescue the people. So they are more focused on how to rescue the people. So I hope Devis, I answered your question. If you have any other queries, so you can please you can ask either you can unmute.
Yes, sir. So, what are some methods to mitigate offshore and onshore oil spill?
Okay, so very good question, Priyansu. Started with onshore. Within onshore, we are using sands and we are using spill kits, right? And we basically what we do. So within the spill area, first of all, we bonded with that spill kit and with sand, and the contaminated soil we keep away and dump in the hazardous waste, right? And within the offshore, what we do, we have a kind of spill kit which absorb the oil from the sea, and within that, right, we make a circle, right? Basically we take that spill kit for for hazardous and disposable for hazardous waste, and we dispose in a safe premises. Okay, other question. I hope Priyansu, I given your answer. Especially, it is like the major
Yes,
thing.
sir.
Even nowadays, we are coming up with a lots of the more engineering control measure, like as we have a spill balls, right, which accumulate the oil, and after that we can pull up from sea, right, and only few companies are using it. Okay, other question is what are some waste water management techniques in the industry? So basically, we are using sewage treatment plant and effluent treatment plant for wastewater management, and we are injecting the wastewater within the well, right? So we can maintain the hydrostatic pressure at reservoir. So these are the some of the wastewater management techniques we are using in oil and gas industry. But yes, it requires more like as it is bit away from wastewater management, right? So we like as we have oil based mud, so the used oil based mud we are processed for uh, processed for cement industry where we are reusing it. So nowadays we are more focusing on reusing the hazardous waste and reusing the mud as well. So we can minimize the chemical hazard and impact within the industry.
Anyone who has any further queries can ask by unmuting themselves.
Okay, I got one more questions about the. So I hope most of them you known about that data journals of mines and safety. So within that we have a Oil Mines Regulations Act 2017, right? So it is specific to oil and gas requirement. If you go through it, so it is easily available in Google as well. So within each section, you will find out there is the clauses where and what is the precaution and action taken by the company, right? So miss, I will recommend you all guys to at least read once oil mines regulation for onstream and offshore. For offshore, we are following oil inspection safety directorate, and for refinery especially there is gas operation is engaged. We are following the PNGRB guidelines, right? So there you can find out the best safety way and practices we are doing it, and even you can go through the various service companies site. There is a section HSE where you can find out oil and gas industry. Okay, another question by Rachit is okay. What are the different harmful gases and release during ENP activity? How to minimize that emissions? Okay, so basically, what are the different harmful gases? So as all we know that it is the hydrocarbon from surface during ENP activities, right? So how we have to minimize it? So we have not to do any cold venting, right? So whatever gas we have, either we have to line up with system, or either if there is any hazardous gas, so we have to burn the refinery. So in the refinery there is a chimney where we are continue burning the harmful gas. So these gases, a part of methane. So these gas have a have tendency to get hydrogen sulfide, which is dangerous. So within 10 ppm, right, we can get affected, right? And ammonia, due to our ANP process, especially during line flushing job, or either we are work over any old well, right? So we are installing the various kind of gas detector or sensor within wellhead, within rig floor. Whenever we encounter any gas, or either we encounter any gas, right, accordingly we use the self-contained breathing apparatus and other safety apparatus, and we close the well as per the well program, and after that we substitute the well and bullhead the well, and so at least the harmful gas and all, so it will be in a low level, or either we will take in a line and flare into flare vent. So this was okay. About the other question is, what safety problem whether whether okay, very good question, Rasjit. So whenever the operation start, right? As I said, it starts to driving our vehicle to till a lots of the hydrocarbon process things. So lots of things like as driving safety was one of the biggest challenge. Occupational ill and health, right? The person, if you meet with old ONGC guys who worked in the drilling and all, so they have a tendency to listen high because they were continuously exposed within the high engine area for to listen high. Apart of that, there is a continuous exposure of radiation, explosive, and the hazardous gas. Apart of that, because we are surrounded with heavy equipment and machinery, which is potential of cause of harm to person, right? If suppose that I entanglement with any machine and in contact with any machine, electrical hazard is also one of the biggest hazard where means the equipment can easily caught fire. Hydrocarbon is itself as a hazard, right? The mud chemical we are using, and unsafe act done by people, right? If they are not following procedures, so these are the one of the major hazard where we are facing problem within oil and gas industry, and to avoid and mitigate it, so we are following like as the BBS program is a very effective program to maintain workplace safety. It is a basically a scientific study method, and it has introduced 20 to 30 year back, and still there is a lots of scope of improvement to done it. So these were the problem program and all, right? So within that we see, due to cost cutting, right? So means you are not able to put a systematic process safety, like as the equipment you want to put, but it was neglected by management due to cost cutting and other things. So these are the the key things you will see whenever you will be in job, right? And within upcoming futures. Yes, next question please.
So I think it's all cleared up. We have come to the end of our session. Thank you, sir, for this informative presentation. The world record of worst offshore oil disaster and largest accidental marine oil spill shocked me. I really appreciate the way you told us about the hazards and safety related to it. I have seen people talking about the chemical hazards and physical hazards, but the way you pointed out the psychological hazards was upstanding. Rarely people think of overload, overworking hours, isolated sites, and violence related to it. Not only in the oil and gas industries, but wherever we work, we should always look for safety first, then proceeding the work. Sir, it has been a very informative session. We are all glad we get to part with more than what we came here with. And we are grateful to you from the bottom of our hearts that you took out time from your busy schedule and made this evening insightful for us. Thank you so much, sir.
I request
Thanks a lot. Yes, please. Yeah, that thanks a lot. The all the ISM students. So basically, you people are very wonderful. Thanks for your patience to listening me, and definitely, I wish all the best for your future. You people are leader, right? And
I
even you people have a very good alumni as well, right? So where you can find out your way, right? And I will say again, optimize your operations as well, so you will become a very good leader. So you all have a kind of potential to get to be a global leader and all, right? And whenever if you have any concerns and if you have any query, right, so you can ping me in a LinkedIn, and either if you want you can concern me, right? So I will happy to help in any way if I will able to do it, especially to resolve your queries.
I request all the attendees to open their video for a photo.
All the attendees, please turn on their cameras for a group photo. Everyone hasn't turned on their cameras. Please turn on your cameras for a group photo. Then we will leave after the group photo. Alright. Thank you so much. Simran and Anshu, you all can conclude.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks a lot, guys. Hope we'll meet soon. Thank you.
Yes, sure, sir.
On the behalf of SPE IITS and Student Chapter, we thank you a lot, sir, for taking out your time despite being so busy, for taking out your time, for giving us this wonderful webinar. We definitely learned a lot, and we're looking forward to having you another time with us. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Rasmi, for invitation. Thanks, SP chapter. Bye.
Hope you all enjoyed the webinar and found it to be informative. We will be meeting you soon with our next event. Till then, stay safe, stay sanitized, and ultimately stay happy. Thank you. Bye all.